Okay, let's try this again. I know the mysteries of the internet. I'll tell you what, if this happens again, I'm done for the night. Nothing will get me unmotivated to make more videos than bullshit like that. I don't understand what happens. I haven't touched anything. Nothing's on. Started off the same way. Well, there's no way. There's nothing I can do about it other than not make any more videos. So, anyhow, I don't know why some days of the week it just seems like it's misbehaving. But you get a good group of people on here, and then all of a sudden, it gets kicked off. It disconnects. So back when we were doing when I was going straight through my phone, if there was a little glitch in the internet or something, which there always are glitches on the internet, if there's any glitches like that, I could just let it, kind of reconnect on its own. I wouldn't miss a spot. But because I'm going through the high speed, something happens where if there's any kind of a glitch like that, it automatically kicks me off. It's not like you get any kind of a buffer or anything. So if there's any tiny little problem, it automatically kicks me off. And it's really frustrating because, you lose everybody that's on here. People don't know what's going on. But if I get kicked off again, then that's it. I'm done for the night because, I've already had to do battles at work and I don't really need that. But that's what it is. There's zero, and I don't know, maybe it's because I'm using this stupid free program called OBS. Maybe if I paid for one. I just don't want to pay for one and it not work and give me trouble. So anyhow, that's what it is. There's zero buffering in it. So I guess the alternative is I can go back and doing the show through my phone. But then the problem, straight through it, the problem is then we don't have this, we don't have this resolution. We got crap resolution. But anyhow, so we'll see if we get anybody back. So, no, sometimes it doesn't misbehave at all. And sometimes, like Saturday, was a problem. I think Sunday we were okay. But Saturday it decided to misbehave. I don't know what the hell's going on. But I don't know how to fix it. I don't have the skill set to fix that. So I'm not a technology-oriented person. They keep changing technology, so why should I learn how to use it? Like there was, give you a perfect example. Well, it's been a long time. It may have been almost 10 years. We had an iPad. We had the original iPad. Many years ago, and there's some decent game, in the lull between my home computer dying and me getting this one. So it was like an 8-year lull between 2012 and last year. I basically didn't have a computer at home, and I just didn't feel like buying one. And at that time, the phones had progressed where I was using my phone basically as a computer anyways. I digress. We had gotten a iPad, and there were some decent strategy type games on iPad, like Battle Academy, and there's a series on there by a company that was a part of Slytherin called Shenandoah Studios, and they make a Battle of the Bulge game, and they make a Drive on Moscow, something on Moscow. Anyways, they make an Eastern Front one, a Battle of the Bulge one, and they had a desert one, with Rommel or whatever. I think it was whatever it was called. So I had just gotten the Rommel one and started playing it, and there was some new update, and it ended up being what I call the 64-bit apocalypse. The version 11 or whatever of the software did, and none of the programs that didn't get updated to 64-bit would work. So I bought this game. It wasn't really expensive. I never was able to play it. And so now, fast forward 10 years or so, I got this laptop and I'm really happy with it. It runs Windows 10, and I got a notice that, hey, there's a Windows 11 out. You know, you want it for a free download? Nope. Not only no, fuck no. I am not touching that until it does it, because as soon as it does that, something's going to happen. I'm not going to be able to go live, and I don't have the skill set to fix it. Or, you know, to go search online, going round and round in circles, you know, what it is. I don't have the personality type for those electronic issues. So painting, I don't care how long this takes. I'm patient. I don't mind showing other people how to paint, or, you know, that kind of stuff. But all of a sudden there's a problem with the computer, and I'm not downloading the new Windows, whatever. If it's a 12 or a 13 or what, I may wake up one day and it automatically did it, and there's nothing I can do about it. But I'm not going to volunteer till all of a sudden my stuff doesn't work. So, as I literally will just say, F it, I'm not going to use the computer again. And then whenever I get tired of it, I'll go buy a new computer. But those, it's not that I'm anti-technology. It's like, that's not what my job is. And they screw with stuff too often. It's like, hey, there's a new version. Well, you know, what do you need that for? I mean, I use computer all the time at work, but, you know, I pretty much just use Excel for the most part, you know, but they always have to tinker with things. And, you know, I don't want my hobby to be a sense of frustration, you know. Wait, it's only Wednesday. What are you doing? I'm painting. I'm painting and getting disconnected. That's not in that order. Well, actually I was painting and then I got disconnected. I have to start over again. So we'll see. If I get disconnected again, I'm done. So, so yeah, I don't know how to make it better. But we'll see. You know, I'm doing these live sessions because, you know, they're entertaining to do. Maybe somebody will find some kind of an advantage to it, and it keeps me on task. But if I'm having to solve all these issues with technology not working like it always has before, then that's really cutting into how much I'm getting painting. You know, how much I'm painting, and it's kind of productive. Okay, so what color shirt is this guy going to have? Let's do something that's let's look at a light green or something like that. Yeah, that should be fine. That's something too. It's a watery son of a bitch. Let's put it over here. Some of these colors, like I've mentioned before, I think I got these a long time ago, and I think I got them. Some of these colors that I got had been sitting on a shelf a long time before I got them. They just didn't, you know, they didn't behave exactly how they should have. So make sure we don't have any. Okay. This is the black, and the color I put down's over here. Let's go a little bit lighter. We don't need it to be super, super dark. We're just going to end up lightening it up anyways, so. So we shot a video the other day, and it was a video that took a hell of a long time to upload to YouTube for some reason. And then when it uploaded to YouTube, it was sitting there percolating, like processing. So it probably would have been up the following morning, but it ended up being yesterday, ended up being the following evening. So, but it did go up, so now I can delete it off my phone here. So. Check that out if you're so inclined. But I'm pretty much decided that I'm not gonna paint unless I'm filming. It's just it's too easy for me to just go do something else. It's just too easy. It's just too easy for me to just say, "Oh, look at this," or go on in a different direction. That's a good way to not get painting done. Add a little bit of white to this and highlight some of these folds and such. So I thought I was going to do the Savoy next, but we ended up doing the fast bow next. Hey, make loose plans. You never know which way the winds are going to blow. All right, let's add a little bit more white. And maybe just a tiny little bit more. The objective is to make these guys plain looking, but not all looking the same. Because even if they were like, hey, wear your light gray overshirt, you would have all kinds of different light gray things. So the whole point is to not make these guys look uniform. We need a little bit more contrast there with these folds. So we're gonna have to go back in here and All right, this guy's wearing a shirt. Underneath there, it's kind of open. This one's what? Got a white shirt on? Yeah. We pretty much have to do. We pretty much have to do that. Maybe we'll mix a little bit of brown in it. All right. Let's go do his face. This one and this one. Although that flesh looks like it could be alive. Oh, wrong flesh color. Oh, this is the wrong one too. What did I do? Put these colors away? I did. I guess it'd been a while since I painted faces, because I had been working on these figures over the weekend, but I think they were pretty much done before I rolled into the weekend. I tried putting some of this stuff away, and it was encroaching on my work area. That's always the case. Get these paints that take over. They push you into a little corner. Let's adjust this a little bit. Had pretty much a headache / neck ache all day long, and it's just subsiding. All right. Let's mix this guy's face up. Let's give this guy a face. It's on the wrong setting. No. Okay. Here. I'm going to paint his face and hands. Right, that's the base color. So let's add a little bit more of this red leather, and we'll have a little bit less of that black. Yeah, I don't think it makes a difference which one of these two I do. Trying to avoid what, like last time, that I think it was Saturday or whatever. Something had gotten. Had like a fake disconnecting, and then I went back and I couldn't see what people were typed on the chat. Technology is great when it works. When it doesn't, I wish it was never invented. you're not going to be dependable, I don't want to hear from you. All right, now we can mix this with the flesh, the sunny skin tone. Alex Mack, welcome. Glad to finally catch a stream. Always a good time when you get a chance to paint. Yeah, hopefully I don't get disconnected like the first one. This is the second stream. The first one was like 10 minutes long and I got kicked off. Unlike when I was streaming from my phone, of course, when you're streaming for your phone, you're maxed out at 720p. So that's pretty crappy resolution. But that one allows me, has some buffer time in it. So if there's like a glitch with the internet, it'll just spin. And as long as it's out for like less than 2 minutes, it'll like reconnect. I don't have that option with the OBS through the computer, through the high speed. As soon as it senses that it lost the internet or there's a glitch on the internet, just flat out kicks me out. And there's nothing I can do about it. And it takes me about 5 minutes to get back on because I've got to reboot everything. So I'm not sure how to improve that other than to hire somebody, pay them lots of money, and they're in charge of doing the computer part. Because, I'm just a painter. I just run my mouth and paint. The rest of this stuff, you can have. All right, let's lighten this up a little bit more. And let's get in here and add some fingers because this figure actually has no fingers on that side. It is just like a flat piece completely. It doesn't have any ridges or anything. So ultimately, it doesn't really matter. If they're going to be misshapen, I'd rather them not mold the fingers on because you can kind of give them a glimpse of or the idea of fingers anyways. Yeah, if you're going to do it wrong, don't do it. Just don't even bother. It's like miniature manufacturers. If you sell miniatures and there's pictures of your figures painted and they're not painted well, don't even bother. Just, the best thing for miniatures really is just take them and give them that black wash so all the details come up. Because, there's some people that paint some of the miniatures that I've looked to get, and sure, they're incredibly inspiring if they're painted by someone who you happen to like their style or what have you. But if they're just kind of thrown together, I think that they kind of do more of a disservice than a service. Like for the most part, Essex Miniatures, I think they'd be better off with just showing all of their figures unpainted. They're decent figures. The problem is everybody's, you've seen them a million times. It's like, oh, there's another one of those guys that looks just like all the other ones, I'll be right back. I need to take care of something. Need to make sure that the drying cycle's going on. Hold on a second. I'll be back within... Might as well get some ice for this. Within 5 minutes for sure. Well, that was within 5 minutes. So, the problem that I have is that we have that little short 10-minute video. Now when I'm done here, I'll have to go back in there and change it to part 1 and then change this one to part 2. Because if somebody decides to check these out after the fact, they'll be like, what happened here? Why is only one video 10 minutes long? Well, I don't know. That happened against my wishes. Most of the time, there's no hiccup. But sometimes, the gremlins come out to play. The gremlins from the Kremlin. Or those old videos that old cartoons they can't show anymore. Probably can't show a cartoon that has a cartoon Hitler. Even though all kinds of bad shit happens to him, still can't show it. Well, this brush went to hell in a handbasket really fast. It just got a no confidence vote from me for painting faces. Let's try this one. Vote of no confidence. I'm back. Yeah, I got disconnected. So the way it works, I'll describe it again because you weren't on there, Wolf. But when I was streaming from my phone, I'm limited at 720 because it's a mobile connection. It doesn't matter that I have 5G to the max, which I do here. It's a mobile connection. But what happens is if there's some kind of a glitch in the internet, it'll keep spinning. And as long as it gets a signal again in like 2 minutes, it'll stay on. It'll stay connected to it. But now that I'm running it through OBS, I don't know if it's OBS or it's the high speed. I don't know what it is. But as soon as it glitches, it kicks me off. I don't have a choice for it to spin or what's the word I'm thinking of? Buffer. I don't get a chance to just hang out and buffer. It literally kicks me off without a warning. And then I've got to shut everything down, reboot, and, and that's frustrating. It's happened a couple of times. I think one day, I think it was a Saturday, whatever, that I painted. It happened like 5 times to me. So I'm just like, well, I'm still going to paint. But like I said earlier, you weren't here, but if it happens again today, I'm done for the night. I'm not here to be tortured by technology. So, it's unfortunate, but, I don't know how to make it better other than to not make videos. And, well, we won't get anything painting then. We won't get any painting done if they don't make videos. But I don't know. Some days it doesn't have an issue. It almost always works on a Sunday perfectly. I don't know if it has to do with other people using it or, the funny thing is I did a speed test on my internet connection through my phone and my internet connection through home, right? And through the cable modem. And the phone connection is almost the phone connection I think is even faster a little bit, but it doesn't matter. The fact that it is mobile, YouTube goes, oh, okay, well, you don't deserve 1080p or better. You're stuck at 720, and 720 just doesn't cut it. I mean, it really doesn't cut it. So, but yeah, there's no buffer opportunity, and I don't know if that's OBS, but it's what happens when you're using a free program, right? It hasn't bothered me enough to look and see what other options there are, but I am not a filming technology guy. The fact that this is even going off is just kind of a minor miracle. This stuff should be easy to use, but sometimes it just gets too complicated. There was something computer related that I ran into a problem with about a year ago. And honestly, I don't remember what. Oh, I know what it is. It was an issue with the AdSense through Google. You know, it it wasn't. Some folks had sent me some money through there, and you know, I had no access to it would get into the account, and I'd got one payout one time, and then it was just stuck there, and there was no one to ask a question to. You had to like ask a question and on like this forum, and hopefully somebody answered it. But you could also just have some. It also could be some random person that just likes to throw answers out there, like you have on certain war game sites. Somebody will ask, "Hey, can I make this move?" And somebody doesn't even look at the rules. Says, "Yeah, you can do it, and here's why." And they just create more trouble than it's worth. But it took me like a year to get paid out through AdSense, and it was a pain in I don't even remember how I freaking solved it. The thing that threw me off is I had gotten one payment, and I'd gotten one payment out, and I had stopped it, like almost like the bank wasn't letting the bank send me the money. I'm just like, I'm good thing I'm not doing this for the money, because if I was, I would have said screw it. It isn't worth it. We're not all made the same. I've got patience for adversity and like painting and stuff like that. But when it comes to technology and stuff, especially if there's you go around and you get the wrong answer, and my time is precious. I'd rather be I need to be doing this, not getting frustrated with the internet. So it took about a year to get the AdSense thing resolved. And I don't remember how it got solved. It wasn't by somebody giving me an answer. It was just trial and error. And anyhow, not very user friendly. But we're good now. For now. To be continued. So the other thing that throws me off is this filming here, I'm using my phone as a camera. And it's connected through Wi-Fi. That's also, the computer is through the Wi-Fi. Because otherwise I have to connect a cord to the computer, which is fine, except I realized that it wasn't charging it. It makes no sense that you wouldn't be able to charge your phone through it or whatever. So, it's just, because that happened to me one time, the filming stopped. Why? Well, my phone died. Well, what do you mean the phone died? It's connected to the computer and it's charging. Nope, wasn't charging it. So, I don't want a hard stop where it's like, okay, I'm only going to be able to film for an hour and a half, or because my phone's going to run out of juice. But anyhow, so it's connecting. My phone is being used as a camera, because if you go out and buy a camera, you got to buy a really expensive camera to have better resolution than your phone already has, that you've already purchased, right? I mean, these phones are expensive, right? They're $1,500 or something like that. So the more things you can do with your phone, the better a deal that $1,500 is. I don't know if that makes any sense, but if you're just using your phone to make phone calls, it's like, no, I'll watch TV on it, or I'll surf, or I'll do stocks, or whatever it is that you're doing. You can justify it, the cost of it, a little more, because they are really expensive, and they do have a finite life, which is, in my opinion, has been like 4 or 5 years or something like that. So, I don't replace my phone just because there's a better phone that comes out. I'm not one of those people. But if my phone stops working, you better believe I'll get another phone, because, we're using it to film and all kinds of other stuff. But, oh, look at that. There's a piece of flash there. Well, as annoying as this is, it's worse to not get it. And then it's there. Real quick, let's just repaint this in black. You have to wait this to dry a tiny little bit. No, gotta wait a little bit more now. Let's work on the top of the bow. Oh, did I miss something? This is good to know. Now, I don't have all the answers, but, you know, you experience stuff and you remember it's like, ah, I don't want that to happen again. That was a pain in the butt. I had downloaded, when I got the computer, I'm like, okay, well, now I got a computer. Now I should be able to get a really good editor for my videos, right? So I downloaded this free one, not because I'm opposed to spending money, but I don't want to spend money and realize that the one I spent money on I hate. So let's try the free ones first, right? So I get, what's it called? DaVinci, whatever it is, right? So it's supposed to be really powerful. It's super powerful. I mean, you can probably make commercials for like, NBC or TV stations on there. I don't need all that stuff on there, right? I just need something that when I'm crunching it, or as they like to call it, exporting it, when I'm exporting it, I'm not tying up my personal phone doing that. So it was great. Everything was working fine. Edited, did everything. And all of a sudden, like 75% of the way through the crunching, it stopped. And I'd wasted all that time doing it again. And it was like, I'm going back to the phone editor. And, that's as powerful as I'm going to go. So late night for you, definitely. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, you guys don't do daylight savings time. So you're on this. I think you're on this time. I think when we do daylight savings time, we get to a 4-hour difference. We're a 5-hour difference now. So it's 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, it's like 1:30 in the morning. You enjoy the barbarian games. I did too. I don't mind Warband as long as the other people are also crippled by having Warband. And the funny thing is that I don't think the Warband actually gave me any trouble. I think it was the Knights that gave me trouble. Marty in one game, oh man, you got Knights? Yeah, they screwed me, and you won that game. Yeah, that was actually my theme suggestion. Why not keep mixing it up? I don't want to be one of those, well, we don't use this troop type and you never see them again. Just because something isn't my favorite doesn't mean that, we're not going to use that. If you notice, the one thing that you don't see us do often is do opens with like super powerful armies. Like the armies that you want to use, crutch armies. Armies that are your crutch, like, you do open things. Like, okay, you pick your more favorite powerful one and I'll pick another one. It's more fun to do games with armies that have issues. They're not the perfect mix of troop types. We've done opens. People do opens. People, you see that all the time. Let's do something a little different. So, yeah. If I'm going to try to win a game, I don't want my winning hopes to be dependent on the wishy-washiness of the warband. Especially against mounted, where they're only a 2 for starters. Alright, we got the bow done. Let's see, maybe we can get this guy completely done today. That's a small goal, but, that's definitely achievable. Be nice to see Seleucids, though. Have you guys done a double unit theme battle? I don't think so. Not all double units are created equally. Maybe we should do a battle with like double bow. Double bow, I think, are a real disadvantage. the way the rules are written, because they shoot the same as a regular bow. So they can be picked off by someone with the same numbers, and that other person doesn't have running the risk of, if they get picked off, the first one doesn't count as 2 units killed. So we haven't done that. We haven't done a game where we have to have a minimum of double bows. But that's a good idea. We could do that. Seleucids? We have done Seleucids. We did Seleucids against Romans. We just haven't done the Seleucid Ptolemaic thing. My Ptolemaics aren't 3.0 compatible. I got to paint 2 units to make them that way. That's probably why we haven't done it. But yeah, we like those successor armies. It's just haven't done that one. So we did do them in a battle against the Romans. I think it was a Roman themed thing, and I think that's on one of the videos. I don't know. It was a while ago. I actually have the troops to build a Seleucid army that I purchased at the same time where I got my Ptolemaic troops. But then this guy called Mitch shows up, and he had this Seleucid army. So now I'm like, well, there goes my incentive to paint them. You know, because I'm not going to paint an army from scratch that I know somebody that I play with all the time also has. That's just counterproductive. When I can build something that he doesn't have. You know? I'm only going to get a chance to paint a certain amount of armies. I might as well think about what's the most useful for the long term. But yeah, Seleucids are cool. Everybody likes Seleucids. They got a little bit of everything, except bows. Mesoamerica would be cool too. Well, I almost bought an army while I was on vacation in Mexico, but I used common sense and didn't. Because I do want to build a conquistador army, and I have all the conquistadors to do it. I would just need Tlaxcalan allies. And I almost ordered the Tlaxcalan allies when I was in Mexico, but I didn't. Because I don't want to commit to that being the next one. But Mitch has Aztecs. Somebody else has Aztecs too. Or is it Luke that has Aztecs? Yeah. It's definitely the area that I'm the least interested in. The armies aren't super exciting, troop composition wise. And, they have no mounted. So, not that you have to have mounted armies, but, that's one less thing of variety that they have. Anyhow. The only thing less exciting than that would be like, what is it, like the Maori? The Maori are like all blade. And, I don't think anybody you could readily get figures from makes them. There was a couple of manufacturers that made them. Maybe only one. I want to say they were in Australia. And they're like all one posed, and it's all blade. I'm like, who wants to paint that? Nothing against the Maori. It's just not a very exciting army list, Besides, then I have to make all kinds of didgeridoo sounds and stuff like that. That'd be really annoying in the middle of a game, wouldn't it? You just got some 6mm Inca from a regular. Haven't started paying them, yo. Yet, though. Difficult for us to get Coruscant here. Well, I'm going to tell you something you're not going to like. I'm not very sympathetic. Because I would rather be able to get all the UK manufacturers than the US manufacturers. Because how many US manufacturers are there? Curacao, Old Glory. That's it, right? Everything else is in the UK. I like all the UK manufacturers. But yeah, that shipping thing is just some severe retardation. I think it was just, I think it was just an excuse to go up on the rates. Maybe it was a loophole that, they should have had closed all this time, but I don't know. All the stuff that I want seems to come from the UK. The land of toys, I used to call it, as I call it. I still call it the land of toys. Let's give this guy a black beard. Why not? Curacao are kind of expensive. Even for us in the States. I don't have any of their figures. They arrived too late on the scene. And by the time they arrived, I had already purchased too many things that I already have. And what do red paint or I drew blood somewhere. Oh yeah. My elbows are dry. That's the problem with the cold, is my skin doesn't like it too much. My soul does, but but see my previous comment. I managed to pick up a Trajanic Curacao army the other day for about 60 quid. That's not too bad priced. Yeah. Those are the ones that they claim are heroic scale, right? Well, I don't think that they're that heroic. They're probably not bigger than Zeiston. Zeiston guys can be really, really big. You call Nottingham Toy Town. Who's in Nottingham? Who's based out there? Or they must have a big show or something like that. I don't know. I heard you guys were... Did I hear right that the UK was like, screw it, we're not doing any more mandates or masks or none of that? Or, or is that what just... I know, it might just be like, well, it just changes next week. So hopefully you guys get your freedom back. Go get vaccinated and, and then go live your life like it's 2017 or, I know people I know this one person legitimately just has not gone anywhere. Actually, I know one person legitimately hasn't gone anywhere for, what has it been, 2 years or a year or two? I don't even know anymore. But, yeah, that's not my way to live, So, I'm not saying go out and lick doorknobs, but man, we gotta get back to normal eventually. Hey, I still got to go to work, and I don't get to work from home, so I'll be damned if I don't get to, I'm not going to be locked in my house after I'm done with work that I have to go to, that I can't work from home in. Yep, no more mask BS. Yeah, I don't like the mask at all. People can wear them if you want. I'm fine with the vaccines, I'm okay with it. I'm also okay if people don't want to get them, but I don't want to interact with anybody with them. I can't understand them. And I like to see people's face, We can keep our distance. I don't have a problem with that, Some people smell anyways. I don't really want to get that close to them, especially gamers. You guys know who you are, or maybe you don't, and that's the problem. I was going to go to Historicon one time and get in the drugstore, they have like little minis, like travel size little things, like travel deodorants. I was going to hand those out to people. When I said, they just wouldn't even use them anyways. I just think a lot of these restaurants never cleaned a damn thing, ever. We thought that they cleaned. They didn't do jack shit, They didn't clean anything. I had an incident. Yeah. I had a situation that happened weekend before last. So we go to a theme park. We hadn't been to a theme park since before the pandemic because they want to put all these rules on. Like that's not a vacation. But we renewed our annual thing with Universal Studios. We're big roller coaster fans and all that, and they put a couple new ones in since the last time we've been there. So we renewed that on day two, Sunday morning. I go in and before we get into the park, the girls were getting breakfast or something like that. So I'm like, well, I need to go ahead and go to the bathroom before I get there. And I follow this guy. This guy was total gamer thing, whatever. He's got his mask on and a hoodie and everything. He's walking really slow. I'm like, okay, whatever. So he goes to the bathroom. He goes into this stall, and it's going to sound like I'm following people. But when this happens, I can't help but notice. This guy goes into this, and this is a kid, probably 18, 19, 20 years old. I don't think he was more than 20 years old. And he goes and uses the stall. He's wearing a mask the whole time he's in the bathroom. And there's nobody in there, But he goes and uses the stall and then doesn't wash his fucking hands when he leaves. I'm like, so wait a second. You're so worried about the pandemic, you're wearing a freaking mask, but then you go and use a freaking stall and you don't wash your hands. I'm like, I almost said something to him. Next time that happens, I'm going off on him. I don't have to touch him, but I can, verbally tell him, what the hell is wrong with you? Use a public bathroom. Jeez. I don't go to ReaperCon. I don't know what ReaperCon is. Do I know Hank at Adepticon? I don't. I don't know what Adepticon is. It sounds like fantasy stuff. No. I've never been to Origins. I've never been to Gen Con. I only found out about Historicon in 2005. And I've been every year except, last year they moved it to November, which is a no-go. And they did the whole mask thing, and I'm just not going to go to a show that has masks. I'm not going to, have a fit. I'm just not going to go to a show if they make you wear masks, Other people want to, that's fine. Anyhow, I could do a whole program just on that, but I don't want to. I want to be positive about the hobby, not negative. But yeah, I've been tired of the current state of affairs for a long time. Now they got some kind of stealth variant. Whatever, we've all come in contact with it, and it's just going to keep happening. We got to move forward, or not if you don't want to. If you want to hide under your bed, you have a right to do that. But if you're hiding under your bed, why'd you even bother getting vaccinated? Just saying. I mean, But people can do whatever they want. As I like to say, it used to be a free country. Did I do null oil on the other guy? I don't think I did, because the area was so small. Well, hell, let's do null oil on both of them. I know Steve Dean, the painter, though. He's a talented guy. He is. I don't know him personally, but yeah. He does really good work. Seems like he might be a nice guy. I have no idea. I've never met him. He might have one of those accents I can't understand, though. He might have one of those accents from Britannia that are difficult for us Yanks to understand. Talked about that. What's that one that I can't understand? The Geordie one. Holy moly. I don't know what you're saying. I need subtitles. I need subtitles. Or just, more exposure to it than I'd be able to. I mean, I can do accents, so I could pick them up. I'm also not allowed to go to places like, Boston that have really bad ones. Oh no. When I reset the phone, did I not turn it around? I didn't. Dadgummit. Ugh. The first time I did. But then, you get thrown off your game. You're like, you get disconnected. Let me get back on before I lose people, And the next thing you know, oh well. I was painted like I was left-handed. Shame on me. I can't do hardly anything left hand. What's my left hand for? The watch hand. That's about it. I can't even. Oh, you're a Geordie one. Okay, well, we'll just type then. I'm sure different people are different ones, but I watched this show about different accents, and they had somebody speaking that accent, and I couldn't understand what the I don't know what they were saying. I literally understood one word in 10. So, and we have people in this country that I can't understand, and but some things I think are just, the thing that really disappoints me about the whole thing is I know after seeing what happened with 9/11, I know that it's never going to get back to how it was in 2019. It's not going to. Something is going to be lingering forever. Okay, and that's just because of the litigiousness of what we live in. It may be people that work at grocery stores, people that are butchers are going to be mandated to always have a facial covering, 20 years from now. Maybe we'll always have to wear them on an airplane. There's going to be some lingering thing that we get our freedom screwed out of. And I'm not talking about like next year. I'm fine. Okay, 2-3 years, whatever. But 25 years from now, there's going to be some lingering thing, just like 9/11. You are not going to be able to take your loved one and drop them off at the gate at the airport. You can't ever do that again. You'll never be able to. You kill every terrorist in the universe, you're never going to be able to because, the litigiousness of humanity, It's like, well, if something were to happen, we could get sued and, we got to, be, and that's just what everything's turned into. So, as soon as I get that time machine built, I'm going to go back to like 1978 or 1979 and, live my adult life in the 80s, Actually, I'm a Geordie, subdivision which is a Sandy, people who live near the northeast coast. Cat Roger Cat. My Geordie for a canny bag of Tudor. I'll climb a mountain. Oh man. I think I was talking about this show several months ago, and somebody had commented. I forget what it was. I said, it was a show that basically I came across it on YouTube, and it was something like the 10 accents. It didn't include Scotland proper, and it didn't include Ireland proper. So it was only Great Britain, I guess. No, Great Britain includes Scotland. Anyways, accents that were the easiest and most difficult to understand, and it rated them. And I was surprised that Cockney was number 2 in easiest. Obviously, the Queen's English is the easiest. I understand everything she says because, she also speaks very clear and slow and metered. But I was surprised that Cockney was number two, but, somebody had said, yeah, we're exposed to a lot of Cockney. And we are. I mean, I guess, it's just what you're used to, hearing, you know. But, yeah, stuff is really interesting, especially when, I'm kind of an empty palate from that standpoint. I really haven't been exposed to all those different things. It's like you guys probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference between someone that has a southern accent from Georgia or Alabama, where we are able to do that to a degree, you know. People down the road are called Macams. It's mental provinciality. So yeah, it's just what you're exposed to. So somebody also would ask me what my favorite one is. Oh, the Queen's English, no doubt about it. I mean, absolutely. That's the attractive one. It's like you don't want to hear some girl from West Virginia. Hell no. Oh man. But I love what goes on in the UK between all the Welsh and the Irish and the Scottish and the English and how they all bicker and pick each other. I think it's hilarious. I think it's absolutely hilarious. So we do the same thing here, but it's like states, people from New York, you know, people from New York and California. We make fun of all those folks. Ours is bigger, so we can't use countries. Um, I guess I was using this color. Got sidetracked. You got the juices. You guys got the juices going. Thank you. I was wondering if I was going to get disconnected and weren't going to get anything painted again. I think with this guy, I'm going to stick with I'm going to make the quiver the same color as the sheath. And that way, I figure these guys aren't made of money. These guys are, just guys that got recruited or whatever, so they don't need to have a fancy quiver. All right, and of course, my lazy ass is always going to do what I always do, the hand protecting thing. Is that the hilt? I got to look that up. I think that's the hilt. I don't make swords anymore, so like I ever did. But I'm lazy and always do that one in bronze. It's really small, so. Useful Geordie phrase. Hadaway and shite, which means please go away quickly. Why is it called Geordie? Does it have anything to do with somebody named George? Why did it get that name? You know? Speaking of that part of the world, I believe I need to get some scotch. Because in this time of the year, I can actually drink it without having ice in it because it's cold. Because, got this kind of a feud with somebody from the UK about drinking scotch with ice in it. Hey, it's 90 fucking degrees here all the time. I drink ice in everything. So, when I'm outside by the fire pit and it's like 40, yeah, I don't need an ice cube then. But I put ice in all my drinks. Coffee, tea. I don't think I have any. I'll have to pick that up this weekend. You got sidetracked. That's okay. Yes, all guys were called George at one point after the king. Crossguard, you believe, is the term. Okay. Yeah, the part that keeps, a blow coming down and slicing your fingers off. If it's, of course you can, if they hit you just wrong, it's still going to happen, but yeah. I guess if I wanted to know bad enough, I would have looked it up, but I don't want to call things by the wrong thing if I have to, Just like pronouncing. I don't want to pronounce things incorrectly. I do a lot of books on Audible, and one of the most annoying things is if you've got some narrator that just has zero respect for whatever it is that he's pronouncing. Now, one guy that does really, really well, in my opinion, is Dan Jones. Dan Jones pronounces French. I don't speak French, okay, but it sounds like he's making an effort in doing that. And, obviously he's still going to have an accent because he pronounces Spanish words correctly with an accent. It's not a natural speaker for that, but at least he makes an attempt. Some narrators they just bludgeon it, and it is just painful to hear. It's distracting is what it is. There's a narrator who's prolific in Audible books as far as he's doing a lot of text. Like he does Polybius and he does a lot of other things. And the thing with Audible is, for the most part, if you find a book there's not a book by many different narrators. It's like, here's this book and it's narrated by so-and-so. So if you don't like that narrator, you're screwed. Now, there are exceptions to it. Some things that are like really, really... like if you've got like the rise and decline of the Roman Empire, that probably there's probably 4 or 5 different versions on there with different narrators. But for the most part, there's only one narrator, and if it's a narrator who happens to you don't like or you can't understand well, or his meter is off, because meter is a huge thing. I never even realized it so much. You got people that mispronounce things, and you got people that like take pauses at the wrong time, and it really throws off your listening, especially if it's combined with mispronunciations as well. So there is one particular narrator who's prolific on there about doing DBA-esque type, things that would be background information for the DBA period armies, whether ancient texts, that kind of stuff. And he's prolific, like he's done like, I don't know, 150 of them or whatever. And he's horrible. He's absolutely horrible. And I thought he was some guy from England, not because it was horrible, but because he has kind of this, he has like a pompous type accent, almost like an Oxford type. It sounds like it would be something like that. But no, he's just some jackass from, I think, the Pacific Northwest or something like that. Anyways, he might be a nice guy, but he just doesn't... You can't follow him. I know that I've got this book that I was never able to listen to because it was like tripping over. It's like you took one step forward and 2 back. So, yeah. 2 a.m, need to hat away and shite myself. Okay. Don't forget to wipe. Hopefully you got the brown pants on. Army looking good, dude. Later. Okay. John Carter. Forgot what you told me. What happened with your handle? You had to change your handle. Had away and shite. Oh, man. There was one book that's a really good. Most of the books, the actual material that's in it is actually really good. The problem is that sometimes you have a narrator that just doesn't work for you. There's this one book on the conquest of Mexico by the Spaniards. I think it's just called Conquistador. It's an excellent book, and I mean, I learned a lot of stuff I didn't know. But this guy had made zero effort in trying to pronounce things in Spanish, much less the Aztec names. Although technically it would be what? Nahuatl? I think it would be Nahuatl. Anyways, he made zero effort to try to pronounce those things. But his meter was okay. So I made it through the book. It was no problem, But if you're speaking about terms you're not familiar with, or maybe another language you're not familiar with, because I watch a lot of things with subtitles. Everything I watch on TV, and I don't watch that much TV, but it is with subtitles. So I'm used to seeing names of people, places, that kind of stuff. And one of the things you do is when you listen to something and you don't understand what it is that they're saying, you're wondering, well, how exactly is that spelled? And sometimes it was kind of didn't really know what he was talking about, if it's pronounced that badly. So, anyway, I've listened to lots of good stuff on there, but one person whose meter was off big time, and I would have thought they would have done this would have not been the case considering what their background is, was Bill O'Reilly's book on killing Patton. He narrates it, and he's absolutely a horrible narrator. His meter is off. He does pauses when he's not supposed to. It's very shoehorn, straight-jacketed type presentation. I thought it was very, very strange coming from somebody who has a broadcast. I mean, that's what he does, I don't know. Don't want to listen to another book narrated by him, So, one strike, you're out. There's too many books to listen to have one that just doesn't work for you. What do we got? We got the quivers. We got the back of the quivers, and I'm a lazy quiver painter. I like to do everything in white, or as I like to say, white. I don't know where the heck I picked that up from. That's my thing. Big H, white. Just looks good. When it pops out. Did I remember to do that on this guy? Yep. I'm just thinking I didn't remember painting them on that figure. And the shoes. And the other guy has black shoes, so we're going to do brown on this guy. And we need to touch up the helmet. In other words, give it some bright spots on it. And you know what? I'm going to do black on here because the brown's going to be too close to the brown pants, and it's not going to pop. That's a secret, folks. Stay flexible. Don't make any concrete plans. Where, this has to be this color. Well, when you get to it, you might realize it doesn't really look good in that color. It's not what you thought. $2 in the morning. Man, that's late. Although, the game night, what was it, Monday? I didn't get home until almost 1 o'clock in the morning. So, yeah. That was, well, I usually leave by 11 o'clock. And Marty had come up, and next thing you know, we're chit-chatting away for an extra couple hours. So, Shelby Foote and the Ken Burns Civil War series is brilliant. There's only one problem with that. It's the Civil War. I don't know anything that interests me less than the American Civil War. But I've heard the Ken Burns stuff is really good. It's just I don't like American history. I don't like American history. I'm not a fan, and I don't really care for that period. in time. I mean, mid 1800s. Don't really care for the uniforms or the tactics, and I'm already American, so you know. Now, if I was gonna war game it, yeah, and I've played American Civil War games, but it's not my thing. I'd much rather play American War of Independence. Not that I really want to play that either, but at least you've got other nations playing it. See, the fact that different nations involved is what makes it exciting for me. If it's just like two sides, I find it very boring, So, but I grew up, being the first conflict that I really liked was the two world wars, because you've got multiple nations in there. So, like, you won't see me interested in playing Vietnam stuff either, Okay. Let me get I should still have some of this stuff. Only Shelby, bless him, made it interesting. I wonder if he narrates other things. Let's look him up and let's see what else he does. I'll take your word for it. The best book still that I have heard on Audible, still to this day, number one, is a book called The Ghosts of Cannae. And the narrator in that is superb. The story's great, okay? Because it goes before, it starts the first Punic War, and then all the way to second, up to Cannae, and then it does to the end till, the third Punic War as well. But the narrator is superb. Unbelievably good. Well, he worked really well for me, Shelby Foote. Foote. Okay, we'll look them up and see what else they do. Yeah, the narrator can make it or break it. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. I told you that I liked Dan Jones, right? So the book on the Plantagenets, excellent book, right? The audible narration is by a terrible narrator. So the two that I have read by him that are narrated by him, and he should narrate his own books because he does an excellent job, are excellent. Because the story is, his writing style works really well. He makes things that are complicated seem not so complicated. Actually, I've done 4 of his books now. The Crusades one, which he narrates. The Plantagenets, which he did not narrate. The War of the Roses, I can't remember if he did War of the Roses or not. Well, either he narrated his own War of the Roses book, or he had a narrator that was good, because that was a good book. And then, I'm not done with the medieval one right now. I'm in the middle of it, but he narrates that one, and it's good. But yeah, his content is excellent. But man, that narrator that they picked for that Plantagenet book was just terrible. I don't know how I got through it, because the story was really good, but the narrator was terrible. The narrator didn't want to be there. It just sounded like they did not want to be there. So, when somebody doesn't want to be there somewhere, hey, don't make them be there. Don't make them be there. All we're doing is just brushing some more of this bright metal on these ridges. Maybe we'll do a little bit on the part in between also, but not touch all the way to the edge, so we still have some of that darkening by the known oil. All right, we'll do the same on the other helmet. Shelby Foote, we'll have to check that out. Maybe they don't narrate anything interesting. Maybe they do. Okay. Now, there are two. Two bowmen of the 6. So, looks like their girls are back. And we've been on here about an hour and a half, so we're going to call this one a wrap. But thanks, guys, for sticking with me. And even though we had that false start after 10 minutes, but hey, we got something done today in the middle of the week. So thanks for stopping by. I'll look into Shelby Foot, see if they make anything interesting. And, of course, happy painting, folks. Catch you guys next time. See ya.